school during that time. She had to drop out of school when she was in the 6th grade. Because times were so tough, she had to take care of her brothers and sister. And so it's not surprisingly, growing up, she always really talked about how important it was for me to get an education, because how important it was. And she helped as best she could, but I worked my way through, and the Lord let me have a job as a janitor. I worked my way through college as a janitor, and then later through law school as a cashier. And of course, I learned a lot in college, but I also learned a lot from my work experience. Neither of which I will ever trade. I could never trade away because it's too valuable for me. Something that will never take away. So I obviously believe how important education is. And that's what I want to chat about for a few minutes before I talk about this race that I'm in. I think education is one of the most, besides a saving relationship with Jesus Christ, education is one of the most important things that we can leave for our children.
Right.
Because to improve the mind that God has given us is so very important, and to fill that mind with the right things, and to teach children the fundamental truths from which to develop their thinking is so important. So I obviously I'm a strong supporter of education. You see that in my career. I've been associated with schools, primarily public schools, for a long, long time, and I know how important it is. There's one principal truth that God's going to use on education, and I want to stand here and tell you this of God my thinking when I'm in Nashville, is I believe in parental control of their children's education. I think that is absolutely important, that the parent be allowed to decide how best to educate their children. Now, if you want to send your children to public school, that's fine. You should do that if you want to do it. But if you elect to homeschool your children, then you should be allowed to do that as well without the harassment that we are presently receiving. In my opinion, homeschool education is under attack. We see it every year in the legislature. What I fear is happening is that the people who are opposed to homeschooling are trying through legislation to really, what I call, homogenize homeschool and make it like public school. Well, those folks have not got the message yet. The reason why we're leaving the public schools is that we're dissatisfied with what our children are being taught and the environment in which it's being taught. And so you'll find in me someone who very strongly believes in the parental direction, parental control of children's education. And you'll find in me someone who very strongly supports homeschool. I think that it's clear that if you look at many of the national academic competitions and you look at the statistics that we're doing a good job homeschooling our children, because they're excelling in every area academically and in other areas as well. But it's so important that we have someone who understands homeschool and will support it in national. We saw that last year in the legislature, where we see it where the legislature is trying to attack the curriculums that you use and trying to make you use state curriculums or state. If we wanted to use state curriculums, we'd send our children to public school.
That's right.
And so I want to share with you that I'm very much opposed to